Amelia Earhart once said, "Use your fear. Let it take you to the place where you store your courage." I have always loved this quote because it seemed like my life and my career required the implementation of that very concept. You see, I left home at a young age. I had to work 3 jobs just to pay my rent. And as a young person, I had to learn about survival. I had to make difficult decisions, like whether or not to buy food or get my nails done. To be young again. You see, early in my life, I unfortunately did not work for very many leaders. In fact, I worked for a lot of bosses. There's a difference. But I will tell you that not all bosses are bad, because young Kari learned a lot from bosses, things I didn't want to be like. During this time, I also had a string of jobs, but I didn't have my career yet. And there's a difference between jobs and a career. You see, I think jobs are kind of like dating. And a career is more like the long term, the marriage. In my work now, people compliment me all the time. "Kari, you have grit. It's like you're not afraid of anything and you just go after it." The truth is, I have just as much fear inside me as anyone I've ever worked with. The difference is when fear knocks on my door and screams really loud in my ear, I listen, I thank it for its opinion, but I push through the door anyway, because I know that my fear will lead me to my courage, and my courage will give me confidence, the confidence to make difficult decisions, to take big risks that could lead to amazing outcomes. Risks like moving halfway across the country for an IT job, and I didn't even have any experience. Starting my company when I was 2 months pregnant. Everybody said I was crazy. I don't know if the timing is right on this, but I believed in myself and I went for it. And I'll tell you what's crazy. During this period of my life, the universe, which has a sense of humor, introduced me to a tool that I hated. And I think most of you can relate. The tool that introduced me to my career is called networking. Not everybody's fun thing to do on a Friday night, but networking changed my life. And at first I was horrible at it, but once I learned how to do it, doors just opened. And the crazy thing is that I now dedicate my life's work to teaching people how to network smarter. Because I'm a stubborn girl, and I figure if I can learn how to do it, and it's done so much for me, I can teach other people how to do it too, and maybe it can change their lives. I believe networking is a gift that can help you find career opportunities. It's life-changing. It's a skill that can benefit every person. Networking can also help you meet like-minded people. I told you guys I did IT for a while. And for some, it can even lead to romance. I am blessed because in my consulting work, I get to work with so many diverse people. People with different industry backgrounds. Some have college, some don't. Different ethnicities, sexual orientations, religious and political views. But for as different as all the clients have been that I've worked with across the country and abroad, I started to notice patterns, commonalities that they all had. Things like wanting to have purpose in their work. They could all relate to how difficult romantic relationships can be. And everybody understood fear. Some let it stop them in their tracks, while others pushed on. Now, speaking of fear, I want to share something with you. It scared me, and I hope it scares you too. Gallup did a poll, and they found that 70% of Americans said they were unhappy in their current job. 70%. These are the same people that say, I can leave work at work, while they're complaining about it over dinner, at the movies, at the kids' sporting event, on social media, right? So, I want to share with you a story I witnessed firsthand. I grew up in a home where my mother was a school teacher for 37 years, but not by choice. You see, teaching was not her passion. Music was. As a young girl, I would watch my mom put X's on a calendar. She would count down every day until summer break, year after year after year. And as a young person, I would often give advice. Mom, if you don't like your job, why don't you just get a new one? But in my mom's frustration, she would often lash out, sometimes in scary ways. And I saw firsthand what being part of this 70% could do. I'm in an interesting business of complaining. I hear complaints all the time. This is one of their favorite words. So when I'm working with people, I hear a lot, I can't stand my boss. I can't stand these coworkers, and I can't stand this company. But experience tells me what they really can't stand is having to do something different, having to face their fear, having to work through difficult times. So I decided I wanted to be a contribution. I wanted to help people know that they could have options. Little did I know that all of these experiences that I was having would lead me to the foundation of a program I created called Career Dating. Now, before you all get excited, let me explain. This has nothing to do with finding romance in the workplace. In fact, if we're going to spend half our time at work, I do not advocate spending let's just say, looking for your other half in the workplace. Never a good idea. Instead, career dating is all about falling in love with your career, with what you do again and again and again. You see, you have to reinvent yourself so things don't get stale, much like in a relationship. Dating your career means communicating through difficult challenges, learning from failure, working outside your comfort zone, and sometimes having to use discernment to know when it's time to let go. So I'm going to share with you 3 additional ways that you can date your career. Number 1, know something that you want. Now, I will tell you that my youngest client is 18, and my most seasoned client is 72. Now, they have the same problem. They both don't know what they want to be when they grow up. I love this because I tell both of them it's okay. Often a career is the journey, but you have to start with something that you want. So for example, let's say you're a server in a restaurant. It's a job, but that's okay because you're getting experience. You're learning what you like and what you don't like. But let's say that experience introduces you to working with customers. You see, you have a flair for dealing with escalations, leadership, and working under pressure. Little do you know, but that one job could turn you on to your passion. There could be a CEO inside of you, and this is the foundation to get you there. Same thing in relationships. You've got to know something you want. Now, I know people that have a list of 20 things you have to have before they'll go on a date with you. But really, it's all about creating guidelines. Those guidelines can lead you to a potential partner. So let's say, for example, that you're spontaneous and you want to travel the world 64% of your time. You're not going to be able to date someone who is a couch potato and let that work out for you. Start by knowing something that you want. The second point, cast a wide net. This is code for networking. I didn't want to put networking up there and scare anyone, but I tell my clients all the time, you've got to diversify your portfolio. Networking can help you get from point A to point B faster, but you've got to take some risks, put yourself out there. If an industry interests you, then it's your job to go out there and meet people who are already working in the field that you're interested in. Ask them to mentor you. Ask questions. Learn from their failures. And what you're doing is creating a pipeline of people who may very well help you find your career one day. Cast a wide net. Same thing with romance. When I was younger, I only dated a certain type. And then my friends reminded me that all I did was complain about that type. So years and years later, when I re-entered the dating pool, I decided to open my heart and not have tunnel vision. I decided that I was going to try some different things, meet new people, people I would have never thought that I would date. And I am having an adventure of a lifetime. The third point, don't settle. I promise you, the company culture that you seek, it is out there. The type of leaders that you want to partner with, they exist. But if you take that job, because you're in transition for just a little while and you're going to look for your career later, 5 years down the road, you turn around and you're in the same job and you're still miserable. You've settled. Don't do that. Here's what can help you. The universe will start poking at you when it's time to move on. All of a sudden, you're not getting the money that you deserve. You're not getting the experience that you want or the training that you want. The universe is poking at you saying, hey, you've learned the lesson that I wanted you to learn at that job. I've got something better for you. But you have to have the courage to make the leap. Don't settle. Same thing in relationships. You know, sometimes dating can wear us down. We kiss a lot of frogs, we go on a lot of bad dates, and we live in a swipe culture. I think we should go back to the old days of courting, where you get to know someone and you don't settle. You go to your guideline, but you don't settle. Because sometimes you're like, well, I had these 10 things I was looking for in a partner. Oh, well, at least they have a car. At least we've got that going for us. Not good enough. Don't settle because you are so worth more. I want to speak now to the people who have not found their courage yet, aren't in love with their career yet, and especially to my boys. And the rest of tomorrow's workforce, invest in yourself. Put in the work to make your passion your career. Because if you choose to be part of the 70%, I promise you over time, punching that clock will wear on your soul. It's okay if you don't know something you want, if you haven't cast a wide enough net yet, and even if you've settled up until this point, start dating your career now by letting your fear take you to the place where you store your courage. Thank you.